is up, guys? Derby Dallas back here with another episode of the Driver's Seat Podcast. No, it's been a bit. Been pretty busy this summer with other Derby stuff going on, but I'm here with a good friend of mine, Chase Moellering. Chase, how you been, man?
It's been a long weekend. We had some fun and, just made the most of it for sure.
A little quiet here. Sorry. There we go. Anyways, yeah, it was a pretty long weekend.
Started off Friday and had a full week of work, and then
We just barely got the car pulled in like an hour ago.
yeah, it was a good time though. A lot of fun.
Well, Chase, where are you from, man?
Born and raised Oakley, Kansas.
Oakley, Kansas. They have a pretty good Derby up there, yeah?
It ain't bad. No, we finally got it back, and Fairboard just keeps adding money, wanting to make it bigger and better, and been lucky enough to keep it going.
How long have you been derbying?
11 years this year.
11 years.
11 years.
That's a pretty long while for a guy that's only 26.
Started when I was 16 running, but I mean, I've been around it forever, and just kind of, as soon as I got a chance to run, we got to get in a car.
Grew up around it?
Yeah, Dad was doing it back in the 80s, and I just grew up around watching him, and then my uncle got into it, and being around them and all their buddies, and it's just been I knew I was always going to run, and finally got a chance to do it.
What's your earliest memory of Derby that you can remember?
Probably back in the late 90s. My dad had a wagon called Mad Max, and told me it was junk, and we were at the fair, and I saw a wagon pull up, and it looked just like it, and I ran up to the entrance at the Derby, and it wasn't his, but I remember just being so excited that that car was back, because that was like one of my early childhood memories of that wagon, and just seeing him run it, and it was just really cool to grow up around that time.
Yeah, so growing up and being around it, was it like surreal when you finally got to jump in your own car? And
Oh, it was ridiculous. Like, I was scared to death, excited, just knew that's what I always wanted to do, and then finally got the chance, and then got to run with my dad in my first show and ended up beating him, so it was just an awesome experience. I couldn't ask for anything better.
So you ended up beating your dad in your first show?
Beat him in my first show, and I've been running 11 years, haven't beat him since.
A little bit of beginner's luck there, then.
Yeah, most definitely. It was just a small weekend warrior back when it was stock down in Dighton, and there's 5 or 6 cars, and it came down to me and him. So getting a run against him, my first show, and first and second show, and then he got out of it for a while, and now he's back running bone stocks. We get a run together, and that's what I always wanted to do, is run with my dad.
That'd be a pretty cool feeling.
It's a blast. Even now it is. Just getting to run against him, and as long as I've watched him run, it's just a really cool deal.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like he might have been taking it easy on you that first show, and then ever since then, he's just like, all right, I got to teach you a lesson now.
Well, he apparently I put the radiator hose on his car, and it popped off, and the car wouldn't restart. So he blames me for it. I blame him for it, but that was in the past. I at least got one on him, so we'll see if I can get another one these days.
Come on, Chase's dad. You know better than to let somebody else work on your car.
Yeah, we've had this issue a time or two.
Man, you got to be the one to work on your car, because then you ain't got nobody else to blame but yourself.
It's happened a couple times where I've had a brain fart and had a battery cable come loose. And he ended up having to wrench it down on a red flag, and he still gives me crap about it. But no, it is what it is. It's fun.
That's the name of the game, man. You're going to have small things go wrong no matter what.
Oh, yeah. He still likes to give me shit about it, but that's how it works.
So, do you remember what your first car was?
It was a 74 Monte Carlo. Dad pretty well put it together for me. My first couple cars, he helped a bunch, built them as well as he could, just make sure I was getting the hang of it, I was going to be safe, and then it just progressed that now I'm building my own cars, and we just bounce ideas off each other. But yeah, it was a 74 Monte Carlo we got from a guy he used to run with. Had in his brought in towing company type deal and had this Monte Carlo sitting there, and I asked him for it if he'd sell it, and yeah, $50 later I had a fresh Monte Carlo.
Well, I know you run bone stocks and stuff now, but what was that? Did you run it in bone stock, limited
It
weld?
was Outlaw Promotions Weekend Warrior back in 2011 was pretty much a bone stock build. I mean, there wasn't a lot of welding, 4-point cage, no frame welding, couple plates. I mean, it was pretty stock. So, I mean, it was
Yeah.
a good car to start with. So, and it worked out really well. I mean, I ran it 3 or 4 times.
Where'd you run it at?
We ran at Dighton twice, Scott City twice with that thing. We ran it 4 times.
I want to say, when I was probably 11 years old. we would try to go catch as many derbies in the area as we could, but I think the furthest one we'd ever go up to is probably Guyman Liberal.
I went down to Guyman. This was, oh goodness, 02, 03, 04. It might have been 06. So somewhere in there, I remember going down there with the Scout City guys. Brett Todd, he passed away here that year I started running. Good friend of mine. Him and Tylen Idol and them guys were going down to Guyman, and I remember that was really good time back then.
Yeah. Well, I was just asking because, maybe 11-year-old me would have seen you running.
We never really went. I mean, we went down to Cimarron some. Never actually ran, but our buddy Alex, he ran Cimarron, Syracuse. Down in that neck of the woods, we went down with him a few times, and we never really got further down into like Liberal, Guyman area to actually run.
Cimarron was probably the furthest we'd ever go, but we never really went up there often because it's a pretty far drive from Perryton.
Yeah.
But, well, this is hard to do with notes, and so without notes off the spur of the moment, it's a little difficult to...
No, man, I hear you. I kind of just like showed up this weekend and,
Well, we had planned on shooting the vlog and stuff, and then you were like, hell, ask your mom to bring up your podcast stuff since I left it in Perryton, and so I was like, that's a good idea.
Now I put you on the ball.
I know.
Put you on the spot. I mean, that's how it works, man.
So, you were doing Weekend Warrior with Outlaw Promotions. When did you start to get into the mods and the bone stocks?
Well, we were in 2011, 2012 with Outlaw Promotions, and then Colby, which is 20 minutes away, had a stock show in 2012, and it was 80s and newer. I ran a Crown Vic, and then ran it a couple of times. And that next year, we got Oakley back and brought in Chad Markley, and I ran a 74 tow package Buick, which wish I'd have saved that one. Great car. But that was my first mod car. I ran mods for 6 or 7 years, and then around 2016, 2017, Dad said he wanted to try this bone stock deal, and he did that for a year, and then we got it at Oakley, and I'm like, well, I want to run with Dad because he didn't really want to build a mod car again, and so I started running bone stocks, and it just got to the point where bone stocks are a lot cheaper. I mean, I can throw one together, $500. I mean, you can have a decent bone stock, and
yeah.
So now I kind of switched to bone stocks. My back doesn't hurt near as bad. I don't have 6 months building a car for a mod show, and we can run these bone stocks 5 or 6, well, not 5 or 6, 3 or 4 times, and still go out there and have fun.
I hear you on the back hurting, because today I'm sore as hell from yesterday.
The last mod car I actually built, true mod car, it was terrible. My back hurt for a week, and it's getting to the point where I know my back's not going to last forever, so we run these stalker shows, and like I'll still go run Blizzard Bash, which everyone knows that's a hard-hitting show.
Yeah.
But I'll run the bone stocks there, and I've had some decent luck up there at Blizzard Bash, and had a lot of fun up there. I mean, caliber of drivers is just, even in the filler classes, is nuts.
Well, they get people from all over the country, and even, I imagine, probably people from Canada and stuff pull their cars down.
You get guys from Canada, Washington, Florida, New York, California, like all corners of the country come together for that show, and it's really fun because you get to go up there, and all the guys you just BS with on Facebook, like you actually get to meet them in person and hang out, and it's just a good overall atmosphere. Can't beat it.
Well, that's how Oakley was for me, because you have been a fan of the podcast since I first started it, which
Yeah.
I appreciate. And then you were like, "Hey, man, come up to Oakley." And finally made it up there and got to meet you. So
Oakley's a great show. I mean, a lot of people don't know about it, and I was so glad to have all the Perryton guys come up because it's a really great show. The atmosphere is great. The whole town just like really embraces the Derby, and that's what's awesome. Like even as a kid, I remember just the crowd being, or the grandstands being full, and
yeah,
I want to get that out to people. I think it's a really great show, and more people need to know about it.
I didn't run, but I had a lot of fun getting to go down there and, like I said, meet you and even all the Derby guys. You in the pits, some places have a little bit of animosity between the
Yeah,
drivers and stuff,
exactly.
but at Oakley everybody was chill. If
Yeah.
you needed something, you knew you could go to the pit next to you and ask.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was cool. I mean, you waved me over to Blake's car, and we sat around and helped him for what, an hour, 2 hours that
Yeah.
night. It's just fun to meet different people because I mean we don't get down to Perryton very often or at all. I mean I've never been down there. I want to get down there, but no, it's cool to meet guys from different areas that come up and support our show, and we need to get down there and
Yeah,
support your
come
stuff.
support our stuff,
I know,
man.
I know. I gotta build a limited weld though.
Oh, hell, it's easy.
Right, right.
It's not like I spent a year building this pile of crap behind us over here.
It's holding up good though, man. We had
Yeah.
welded some plates on it. I mean, you ran good yesterday. Just tough luck, how it is.
Yeah, I got stuck on somebody. Need to cut that bumper shorter so that don't happen.
You know what happens. I mean, little things always take you out. I mean, it's always the simple stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, man. It seems like it happens in every derby for me, at least. I don't know if it's happened to you, but you get out, or you get timed out. You got Chad over there waving you to break your stick, and you're like, I don't want to.
Yep.
And then you get out, and you're like, dang, that's really all that took me out just now?
I've had it all year. I mean, I've had good years. I've had bad years. This has probably been one of my worst years. I mean, it's still been fun. We've had a good time, but it's just one thing after another. And, you know, we got 2 more shows this year, and we'll see if we can go down there and have some fun and do a little better.
I know Salina's coming up in October, but which other ones are you planning on going to?
Plan on hitting Salina. Thought about going up to Nebraska. I don't really have a car left to go to Nebraska. Well, I like going up there and run their bone stock rules too. But for sure, Salina gonna end up at Blizzard Bash again. So
Oh, yeah, Blizzard Bash. I forgot you were running that this year.
yep, supposed to run 2 cars, end up just running 1, but it'll be a good time. I love going down to Blizzard Bash. Like I said, the atmosphere is great. And
How'd you even end up going down there to run?
to Blizzard Bash,
Yeah.
a couple years ago, I mean, I've always wanted to run. I started going in 2013. Me and a good friend Josh, spur of the moment deal, like, hey, let's go watch this thing. And as soon as the first heat was ran, I'm like, I was hooked. That place is awesome. And I always wanted to run, and I ended up getting in on a draw, and life happened. I didn't get to run it, so the next year I was like, okay, we're going to do this. Went up there, ran my first time in 2018, 2017, 2018. I think it's 2018. Had bad luck, busted a tranny early on. Me and my dad ended up putting it back together for a 2-man car for Capital Carnage, and ended up 7th in our heat. I mean, wasn't great, wasn't bad, but it was fun. And then I ended up, this last time we had it, damn COVID, but 2019 went down there, had a bunch of buddies, got to run with that. I mean, one of those deals, you don't run against them because they're not from the area, and ended up coming home 5th, blew the tranny, or rear end up, and tough luck, but I mean, it was a blast just to get down that far with those caliber drivers. It's really cool.
It'd be like hanging with like Kyle Larson or somebody in NASCAR,
Exactly.
because, like you said, tip-top drivers
Oh yeah,
in Blizzard Bash.
Yeah, even in the filler classes, it's nuts. I mean, we went down to Metal Mayhem too a few years ago, and that was, we were in the big class. So I mean, I was like freaked out. I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna go. Like, travel 12 hours, and I'm like, well, we got a good car, we got a good drivetrain. We'll just see what we can do, and ended up getting 10th down there. And I mean, that was a win to me. You get plumb out of your comfort zone. You didn't hardly know anybody.
Yeah.
Big show. I mean, that was, and the car count was down that year, so I can't give myself too much credit. But no, getting down to 10th at the show like that, and just, I love it. I mean, big shows are definitely, you get to see how you stack up to other people.
Yeah. That getting out of my comfort zone. That was kind of how I felt this last weekend when going up to Hoisington, because I haven't ran anywhere outside of Perryton and Spearman, Texas.
Exactly.
So you were like, come run this Hoisington show, and I was like, I don't know.
It's good, though, to get out of your comfort zone. I mean, I'm guessing down in Perryton, you run against, like, the same people every year.
Yeah.
And that's how it was getting for me when we were running mods. I mean, yeah, you get some guys here and there that came out of our area, but for the most part, it was the same 10, 12, 15 guys that are running all our shows. And, don't get me wrong, it's fun. I love running against my local guys just because we know how each other drives. I mean, we can get out, shake hands, everybody's happy, have a beer afterwards, whatever. But getting out of your comfort zone it makes you a better driver, I think.
Exactly. That's why I decided to go up there. I was like, well, I haven't ever done this before. Even if you do bad, it's a good learning experience.
You always learn every time you get in a car. I mean, you gotta just look. I mean, even if you have bad luck, you just gotta look at it as, I got seat time, I learned. I mean, you gotta keep doing that.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're not doing that, and if you're not learning, what are you still running for? I mean, I guarantee you, Chad Markley, Vince Olivius, Toast. I mean, all them guys, like all the big name drivers, they're still learning.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the ways you can just sit there and keep making your car better.
Exactly.
Like Chad Markley, he's got, 30 years of experience, I'm guessing?
I would imagine probably all of that, because I'm sure he's been running about as long as my dad. I mean, it's Chad. I mean, and even, like, being around running Chad's shows, I mean, you've seen it. He'll tell you, like, hey, you should have done this, you could have done that, just to make your next build better. And that's what it needs to happen, like, judging-wise. You need to be able to help guys, like, make everyone better.
Especially if you have, you have these local drivers that don't really get out much, and then it always seems like these northern shows are way ahead of the curve compared to more southern shows. Like, it seems like it starts in the northeast, and then as time goes on, those tricks and stuff works its way down. But if you don't get out and you just run these southern shows, not calling anybody out from Perryton or anything, but you don't learn all those tricks and see what other people are doing to their cars to make them better.
Exactly.
And then you have these guys that come down and run Perryton because it's a pretty big show, and it's like, Jesus, how are they getting their cars like this?
I mean, well, it's like you got guys from Perryton that have branched out. I mean, Tiny, Blake. I mean, I've seen all them guys run Topeka and stuff like that. I mean, they're getting out and they're actually, like, learning.
Yeah, and building some decent cars and stuff.
And even, like, going to Blizzard Bash just to watch. I mean, there's so much you can pick up on, because not many people, I mean, there's some at Blizzard Bash that are like, stay away from my stuff. But there's a lot of guys that are like, yeah, come over, we'll talk about it. Like, here's why I did this, here's why I did that. And that's what I like even at Blizzard Bash. Like, I've kind of been there enough, I know who you can and can't approach. But there's so many guys who are like, yeah, man, come over, we'll have a beer, we'll talk about it. And even stuff like that is just helping everyone.
Yeah, and I want to try to get up there this year. Everybody keeps telling me that I need to go watch.
Oh, you have to. It's unlike anything. I mean, even just being there to watch is crazy. But even, like, running those big shows, a guy told me after we went to Mayhem, he's like, the Derby's going to go slower now. I couldn't really understand what he was saying, but you look at it differently. Like, you run a big show with all these top-notch drivers, and I'm not saying anything bad about anyone that I run against that's not top-notch. I'm just saying you look at it differently. That, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just different.
Kind of like, I guess, what I go back to is in high school, I'd always want to play against teams that were bigger, and obviously the bigger the team and the better they do, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so then you'd go and you'd play teams in your district and stuff, and it would seem like the game would be a little bit slower, and you'd be able to see things better. And
exactly. No, that's pretty well how I feel. I mean, nowadays, just getting to run these bigger shows, it's just a different mindset, I think.
Yeah. Well, plus, I mean, you get that melting pot of drivers, and everybody's got a different driving style, and so you get to kind of see a little bit of what everybody has to offer.
Exactly. Which, nowadays, you see me run bone stocks. I used to go from sandbagging all the time. Now I'm running bone stock, so I don't really care. We'll go out, make junk, have a good time. But like we'll go to Blizzard Bash and my whole mindset changes. We'll go run these big shows and like I'm there to try and get in the money, try and do well. My local stuff, I'm like, let's just have a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they give a pretty good payout at Blizzard Bash. I
Yeah,
imagine, even for the filler classes.
I think it's like $2,500 to win just the filler class. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
see,
not bad at all.
That's freaking insane for what would bone stock for a bone stock class.
They call it bone stock. I mean, you get to change your motor training and stuff like that, different tires. I mean, it's a stock frame. I mean, I'll give them that. But no, it's crazy going out there and just having a blast.
Yeah. So what do you plan on building for Blizzard Bash this year?
Going out of my comfort zone, I prefer old iron, which with our bone stock rules, we got to run 80s and newer. So we've started building these metric caddies, but we're gonna take a '97 Lincoln, cold tilt it. Never done that. I mean, it's gonna be a different build. I'll be asking my buddies a lot of questions, but I think a '97 Lincoln would be a good choice for that class. We'll see how we do.
97 Lincoln.
97 Lincoln.
You're gonna waste a Ford in a bone stock.
It's not a bone stock. It's a limited weld.
Okay.
The two-man class is a limited weld. I'm not running bone stocks this year.
Oh, so you're not running bone stocks this year?
No. Gonna run the two-man extreme class. So.
Who are you running with?
It's a good question.
You don't know yet?
Secret. I got a secret weapon.
What do you mean?
I got a secret weapon, man.
Well, I'm sure you can tell us here on the podcast.
Secret weapon, man.
Come on.
No.
That's weak. That's weak sauce.
You'll see at Blizzard Bash.
If I'm even there.
You'll be there.
I mean, I'm gonna try.
I don't care if you gotta drive up to Oakley and ride with me. You'll be there.
It's the with us recently buying this house and stuff. We gotta keep track of funds.
Oh yeah, I understand, man. Definitely.
But I do plan on going.
Yeah.
As of right now, I want to be there.
No, definitely. It's a great time. I mean, heck, yesterday you had, 6-7 interviews for the Hoisington vlog. I mean, imagine what you can do at Blizzard Bash. I mean, you have an hour-long video.
Exactly. The plan is I want to go up there and have a separate vlog for each day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because they derby from, what, noon to freaking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, not exactly. Thursday and Friday, they start between 5 and 7. I don't even remember. And it can run till 2 a.m. And then Saturday they start 10 o'clock in the morning, and then you got to break Saturday afternoon, and then they do it again Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it's 4 days full of derby and just walking around BSing with people and having a good time.
See? Freaking YouTube derby guys, paradise.
Exactly. I'm telling you got to go.
We'll see.
Definitely.
So you got a 97 Lincoln, 2-man extreme. What's your game plan heading into that? Because you're not the only driver in there this time. You got a passenger with you that you got to think about too.
No, I don't know. Blizzard Bash, you just try and keep your nose clean for a while, get the back end, pack in. It's hard to make a game plan with a show like that because you got so many other drivers, and you get guys that go there just to make junk. Like, you got to pay attention because you caught sleeping for a couple seconds and someone might pile you into the berm. I mean, down there, the track's so hard and it's so fast, you got to be just on the ball, and I hope you get lucky, honestly. I mean, that a couple years ago, I got lucky. My car ran flawlessly and then got down to 5 and blew the rear end up. But, I mean, just getting down that far even, you got to have a lot of luck. You got to have guys that'll have your back and keep you out of trouble, keep you off the berm, stuff like that. And I mean, it's a chess match. The whole heat's a chess match.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like knowing you have another person in there that's controlling the pedals while you control the steering and stuff, or vice versa. How do you even game plan for something like that?
Luckily, I've done it a few times. So I mean, like when I ran up there a couple years ago at Blizzard Bash in the 2-man with my dad, Dad's got a game plan. Like, he kind of points here and there, and he wasn't real happy about how heavy it was on the throttle. Sorry, Dad. But, no, you got to be in sync, and it's hard to do. Because, I mean, we've ran some last year, and you try and be in sync, and you might not always be in sync, but you got to try the best you can to be thinking the same, just pointing or trying to yell or whatever. I mean, down in Topeka, though, you can't hear nothing. Like, it's so deafening in there. Even in the car, it's crazy.
Well, yeah, because you're inside.
Dude, that atmosphere. Atmosphere is wild. Like, you
You just kind of got to be there
you
to.
got to be there. I try and tell everybody that. Everybody needs to go to that show once. I mean, I've tried getting all my buddies from home that even if they don't derby, I'm like, you got to see this show. I mean, it's just unlike anything else.
So for people that are watching that might be a little confused, or even listening, because don't think I forgot about all my Spotify listeners up in Lake Stevens, Washington. I see y'all. They might be a little confused on what we're talking about when we're talking about a two-man extreme, and I'm saying, oh, you got a passenger with you and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of run us through what all is involved in a two-man extreme car.
So two-man extreme, driver gets the steering wheel, and he can run the shifter. The guy run the passenger can run the shifter, but passenger gets the gas and brake. So you got to try and work together as to what you got going on.
So do you just build that as like a regular car like we have here behind us, or do you?
Basically, just having two seats. I mean, you got your center bar with the shifter like everybody's got, and then you got the way we do it. We put the gas or the battery box like yours up on the dash bar, just so like if cable comes loose, passenger can reach up there, work on it, whatever. Just try and make it as accessible as possible. Like the only problem, like with the two-man car, you're on a training cooler, you got an issue, which most times you got a training cooler issue, it's not going to matter. But we sit the gas tank training cooler behind us. But it's just one of those deals is you try and make it as user-friendly as possible. And I mean, it's not going to be. I mean, derby cars aren't really meant for two people.
Yeah.
No, you just have to look at it a little bit differently, but it's basically the same build.
How do you run your lines and like your tranny lines, your gas lines? Because mine are ran straight through the middle of the car and up on the middle bar and stuff. So.
Basically the same. We got a hole for like a turbo 400 on the passenger side, like most everybody else has, and then you just run your lines in between the two seats. The center or fuel lines, basically the same thing. We got the firewall cut out, so we just run it through the firewall, and it's basically the same as what your typical build would be.
I got you. That's pretty cool, man. Two-man car would be fun to run.
They are fun. You and Mayhem Madison need to bring one up to Colby next year, man. We run them up there, and Colby's got a two-man class itself, and then you can run with the bone stocks at 2 or 3 other shows. I mean, you need to get her in a car, man.
Well, I agree. She wants to run, but she's nervous because she's like, what if a battery cable pops off? And I'm like, you put it back on.
Yeah.
She was like, well, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff, but
honestly, it's an experience. Like, I wish everyone would try derbying once, because all these people that say, oh, you guys are dirtbags or rednecks or whatever, I mean, we all, you know how it is. Everyone knows how it is.
Yeah,
we get called all kinds of names.
We get slandered.
Oh, yeah. And I just want everyone that says that, I'd like to see them try it once, just to see their mindset. If you hate it, okay. But I'll guarantee you have a respect for us afterwards.
Exactly. The people that slander us and they're like, oh, they're just a bunch of, like you said, dirtbags, rednecks.
Exactly.
You know, we all have a reason for doing this, whether we're adrenaline junkies or like you got into it because your dad kind of started you from birth.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. I was going to run regardless.
But we're all, man, everybody's got a hobby. Ours just happens to be a little bit more cooler than everybody else's.
Exactly. No, everyone needs to try it, even people that, if you don't think you can do it, or just, I mean, ask, even if you're listening and you're like, I want to try this, find somebody local that runs. I mean, more than likely, yeah, Southwest Kansas is kind of desolate. No offense, Southwest Kansas. But there's not a ton of derby guys, but there's still quite a few. Find someone on Facebook. Ask them. I mean, even if they're 4 hours away, I bounce ideas off guys all the time from out of the state. I mean,
yeah.
Talk to them. Just see what it's going to take. I mean, they're not going to steer you wrong. I mean,
exactly.
Just try it once and then go from there.
Even though you're in the arena and we'll hit you, but just know we all want the same thing. We all want the sport to get bigger and better, and so.
Exactly.
I mean, even me, I don't have a good car at all, and I'm not a very good builder, but I'll still try to help you as much as I can if you want to message me and be like, hey man, I've never derbied, how'd you get into it, you know?
You're learning though.
Huh?
You're learning though.
Exactly.
You're always learning. You always got to keep learning.
But that's what I did with Chase. When he texted me about the podcast and stuff, we became buddies, and I started bouncing ideas off of him. Same with Lane Frericks up in Iowa.
Oh, that guy.
We became friends.
Lane Frericks who?
Yeah, don't know that guy. No, I'm kidding. But he'll help me out, and then I got some of my best friends back home, and Jeremy Rowland and Colby Bourne. Those guys, they've helped me out quite a bit as well. So it's one of those. Go ahead.
You gotta have that though. I mean, same with me. I'm like, I bet I've gotten 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that I went to high school with. I'm like, come out, look at the car. I mean, and I've got them in cars, and they love it. I mean,
yeah,
they haven't gotten a car and not had fun. I mean, I've just tried to just get in it once, see what you think, and every one of them's ran more than once.
It's going back though. It's one of those things you just got to ask. Yeah, there's a few guys out there that want to be a-holes and don't want to answer you because they got secrets they don't want to get out, which everybody already knows your secrets, dude. Everybody builds the same.
To an extent.
Okay.
Just saying.
Anyways, just reach out, man. Message somebody if you want to get into it, because 99% of us will be more than willing to help you out.
And that's how the sport's going to grow, is that you got to get the younger generation. You got to get guys that say, oh, I can't build one of them. Yeah, you can. Like our bone stock rules, especially up in Northwest Kansas. I know you guys don't have it down in Perryton, but our bone stock classes blew up the last, I think we got it 3 or 4 years ago at Oakley.
Yeah.
We went from having 5 cars to, not this year, well, this year we even had 30. I mean, which they came from all over, but even before that, before it was a team show, I think we had dang near 20 bone stocks. I mean, it's a simple build. You can compete with not a lot of money. I mean, and they're super easy to build. Just, yeah, there's things here and there that are going to help you, but, I mean, for the most part, you really don't need that much mechanical ability.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to make it run good. It's like with any derby, but no, that bone stock rule, I mean, or bone stock class, and they're blowing up everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, even out in Ohio, they'll run them street stock cars, which is basically our bone stocks, and they'll get 20, 30 cars out there. I mean, it's definitely picking up the stock rules, and it just helps everybody.
Bone stocks and compacts, to me, would be perfect to have at a smaller show or a local show.
Yep.
Because then you get those kids that are 16, 18 years old, or even like your guys that are in their early 20s or whatever. They're like, man, I could build that. I could get out there and go derby. And those 2 classes, I think, would be perfect gateway drugs, I guess, to the...
Oh my goodness, that's the truth. It's a drug, man. Everyone says it, and you don't think it is until you start running. I mean, I was hooked anyway before I started running. After I ran, yeah, I can't get enough of it. I mean,
Same here, man.
It's how it is.
It's one of the biggest adrenaline shots.
Oh, it's crazy.
That I have ever had in my entire life.
Absolutely crazy. I mean, I've done a lot of fun stuff in my life, but derbying takes the cake every time.
Same here. To a stopping point again. We were doing so good, Chase.
I know, man. I'm telling you.
I'm freaking tired today. All beat up. Thanks a lot, Scotty from Hoisington. I don't know your first name, but
it's Scotty Christians.
Oh, Scotty Christians. You laid a couple on me, man. So I appreciate that.
I have that though, man.
Yeah, you will. It's one of those things. I knew I was gonna get hit when I got in there. I just didn't know I was gonna get tracked right off the bat.
That's like you said though. I mean, you haven't got out of the area. That's like a show that I went to quite a few times. I've been there 4 or 5 times. I mean, I've traveled some. I mean, not a ton, but I mean, I've been to quite a few Kansas shows. So that's what I'm fixed on getting you set up here. Like we're going to shows.
Okay.
We'll get you out of your comfort zone. We'll get you out of the area.
I plan on going up to Salina, and that'll probably be my last derby of the year to run in, and then going and watching Bash. And
Salina will be a good time. That show, I've been up there 3 or 4 times. Only ran once, but been up there 3 or 4 times. That show is just blown up for Chad, and it's going to be a big show this year.
I hope so. I don't really know what to expect. I know Tiny and Michael McElroy have gone up there and ran a couple times, but I don't really know what to expect.
That's how I am with these. Chad this year started last year with the bone stock points that he's got all different regions.
Yeah.
Of shows that he's bringing guys in from Missouri, Nebraska, Kansas. I mean, all over to come to the show for a bone stock points championship, and I'll bet there's all of 50 bone stocks there. It's going to be a wild show.
Then it'll be fun to go watch.
It'll be a good time, definitely.
One thing that I do like about that, though, is the points race. Is it like, because up north they have Domination Motorsports, I believe. They do a points race.
Yeah.
And every derby you show up to, you get a certain amount of points.
Yep.
And then if you finish first, you get a certain amount of points.
Yeah. It's similar. The way Chad has it worked is your best 2 shows go to the championship. But he's got different regions. So, like, the West region is going to be Oakley, Colby, Goodland. Hoisington was part of that. But he's got different regions all over because his sister runs shows, promotes shows in Missouri and Illinois. So that ties in, too. So he's got all these different shows that are tied into a points race. So you're going to get guys that come from all over just to try and get that points.
So CDDA, which is Chad's show, they run Perryton and Oakley.
Yep.
They have shows from western Kansas all the way down to the panhandle of Texas. And then his sister, who I'm imagining is also under the CDDA.
It's GSA, but yeah.
So Grandstand Attractions.
And she still runs some shows up in Kansas, Mountain City, Abilene. I know there's 1 or 2 others. I think actually she's the one in charge of Goodland, but Chad promotes it. And but no, they're scattered out everywhere. So I mean, you're gonna get a good mix of all different kinds of guys.
Well, where I was going with that is, so they kind of run all those together, and so from basically southern point of the panhandle of Texas all the way to the northern point of, you said, Illinois. That's insane.
It's a crazy deal. I mean, there's other promoters, don't get me wrong, and nothing against those promoters. We ran with Chad for the last 7 or 8 years now, and he's treated us well, so we've kept coming back.
Yeah, I've gotten to run under Outlaw Promotions a handful of times, and I love Joe Hibbert. Shout out to you guys. You guys do put on a great show, but most of the shows that I've ran has been under Chad and CDDA, and so I don't know. I've had a great time under Derby and for those guys too.
Exactly. No, there's a lot of good promoters around. I mean, we ran with Smash It there at Blizzard Bash the last couple of years. I went out, ran a Derby Icon show at Metal Mayhem 2 years ago. I mean, there's good promoters everywhere. It's just a matter of where you want to run, who you get along with. I mean, yeah, there's going to be people that don't like Markley for this reason, that reason. I mean, you're going to have that with everything.
Yeah.
You just find a guy who treats you fair. And
I sounded like I was going through puberty there for a second.
Your story, bud, not mine.
No, but damn it, I lost myself again. Promoters, yes. What about promoters?
Good promoters, bad promoters. You had good experiences with everybody.
You're gonna have good and bad experiences all over. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but there's a giant hole in my driver's door. Shout out Shy Collier. Gonna stir the pot a little bit with that, with all the Nancys on Facebook.
Here we go again.
No, I'm kidding. I love all you guys. But you're gonna have that. You're gonna have some cars get hit in the driver's door and people get pissed off about it, or you're gonna have guys that think they timed out after somebody else was supposed to.
Yep.
And
well, it's like you and I even talked about it after Perryton. You were pissed about the driver's door, and I kind of gave you my 2 cents. And no, I'm not saying that Markley's right 100% of the time. I'm not saying anybody's right 100% of the time. You miss things. I mean, it's part of the game. You're gonna get hit in the door. I mean, I look at my driver's doors. I pull it every chance I get.
I mean, I'm not a saint by any means. I even laid a driver's door shot there in Perryton, and it's actually super difficult to not hit somebody's door if you're already headed there. It's hard to turn out of it.
And people block with it. I mean, it happens. I mean, you're gonna have guys that's how they drive, and I'm the same way. I mean, I'll put my door in front of you, and 9 times out of 10 they're gonna stop. I mean, unless you go to Goodland, then they're driving through the door. Sorry, Goodland guys, it's true. But no, I mean, you're gonna have that. It's Derby.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to is it'd be hard to be a promoter because you got to keep an eye out for not just driver's door shots, but you got to keep an eye out for team driving and fires and everything. And my thing is if you have a problem with the promoter and you think you could do a better job, then get out there and get the flags yourself.
Dude, it's a thankless job. I haven't promoted a show, but I know the promoters don't get enough thanks for what they do.
Oh, exactly.
I couldn't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine doing it. Eventually, I'd like to get into promoting just when I can't derby anymore because I know it's coming. My back's shot at 26, but no, it's definitely a thankless job. I mean, I feel bad for them guys most of the time.
They catch all the bad, never get any of the good.
Exactly. Most definitely.
Which they do. Every promoter, which I've only had Joe Hibbert and Outlaw Promotions and Chad and CDDA, both have put on awesome shows. They call what they can see, which you're going to have issues all around.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, I've run with good promoters. I've run with bad promoters. I mean, I've had issues with the big guys. I've had issues with the bad guys. We talk about it. We get over it. I mean, you can't hold a grudge. I mean, plenty of people do. You just got to go on with it. You're not going to change it.
Exactly.
It just is what it is.
You're going to... It's all part of it.
Exactly.
You can either
100%.
choose to get over it and move on and, go shake hands with whoever, or you can sit there and stew on it and be a sourpuss about it for a whole year until the next one.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what you told me at Oakley. I got out of my car. I didn't think I'd timed out that quick. And you're like, just calm down. It's all right. And I went over and talked to Chad about it. And we hashed it out. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I was out. It wasn't nothing I was going to change. It's just part of Derby.
I agree. Well, man, we're coming up here about 42-ish minutes. It doesn't seem like it went that long. That's one thing everybody's told me is like, really? We've been talking for that long? Like, when you talk about Derby, man, it just kind of flies by.
Oh, I know. For dang sure. Then you fell asleep on me last night, heading back, and I'm just like, man.
I fell asleep on the way back?
Yes, you did.
I apologize.
Oh, man, it's all right. It was a long weekend. I mean, we up till, 1:30?
Yeah.
Saturday night, and up 7:30 Sunday to go to Boisington. And I don't think we got back till 8 or 9 o'clock last night and hung out and BS till whenever you crashed.
You're still not even home yet. You have hung around because I told you we'd get this podcast shot and help me unload my car and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a pain to get the car unloaded, but, it just is what it is. And
without reverse, it's hard to back off a trailer.
Slight problem. But no, it wasn't that bad. It was a fun weekend. Had a lot of fun hanging out with you and Madison again. It was a blast having you guys come up to Oakley and hanging out. And, no, it's been a fun weekend, and dang sure have to do it again.
Well, man, for anybody watching that's a fan of you or is like, oh, I'd like to go see this guy run, what shows, run through this again, what shows do you plan on running this year?
The rest of this year we got Salina, October 8th and 9th, and then Blizzard Bash, November 8th to the 11th, and then next year, I mean, it's going to be the norm for me, Oakley, Colby for sure. Can't miss those shows. Those are always two big ones on my schedule. And
just kind of see what you feel like running?
It's hard telling. I'll change my mind 4 or 5 times between now and then. I'd like to go run some different shows. I like to go down to Syracuse pretty bad. I mean, that'd be fun, just a different build set, different promoter, stuff like that. But we'll hit Oakley and Colby for sure, and then just kind of go from there, see how the cars hold up, see how many cars we got even. So it just kind of depends what's going to happen.
Yeah. And for those of you guys that won't be able to make Blizzard Bash, you can watch it, right? They televise it too.
Yep, Derby Nation, it'll be on there. Salina, not so much. I mean, you got everyone that goes live. I can't give you all the names. I'll forget somebody and somebody will get butthurt. But no, definitely got to give a shout out to Oakley next year. I think they're planning on bringing the two-man teams back. This year was an awesome show. Everyone in town absolutely loved it. I think most out-of-town guys all had a blast from what I've talked to them. Definitely people need to look that show up. It needs to be. Well, we need to get some more cars up there. It's going to be a blast.
If I got a car left after Salina, I'll probably try to take it up there for Oakley next year and then start on my fresh car for Perryton.
See, now you're putting pressure on me. Now, if you come up there, I'm going to have to build a limited world car.
You won't have to. There were only 2 limited world cars this year.
That won't happen next year. I'll guarantee it.
You don't think so?
No. First year getting. I know you're saying we're about done, but no. first year we had the limited well class. I mean, I was supposed to be there. Life happens. Training went out. So, no, I think next year will be a bigger limited well class. Not, I hope to be there. I got an old mod car sitting around that's still about like these rules before Chad went full blown plates mod. I mean, it was a full cradle car, but it can be.
You just got to take the top half off.
Cradle's already gone. I sold that, but no, I mean, it's just cut some plates, and it's pretty easy stuff. We'll probably have to put that together, come beat on you for a little bit.
Good luck with that.
I'll take an ass kicking just like anybody else, man. It is what it is. I can get my butt kicked, and I'll get out and shake your hand and
go have a beer afterwards.
Exactly, 100%.
Well, Chase, I appreciate you for being on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It's been a long time coming for sure.
For sure. No, it was a blast this weekend. Glad we got to hang out and do this and everything else. So.
Yeah, it was nice to actually get back at the table and have a podcast again. I know I've had a lot of people asking me about it and why I haven't been doing it. And
me being one of them.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck, man?
I've just been busy with the vlog and everything else. It's
in the house. I mean, it's not like you got a bunch of time set up just laying around.
Yeah, I'm surprised we even got this thing ready for this weekend because.
Oh heck!
Oh,
I told you when I said let's go to Hoisington that we get the car done. We got the car done. We probably could have done a little bit more, but you got some ideas for Salina and
exactly
make it a little better and go from there for sure.
For sure. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Driver's Seat Podcast. If you need door wraps or roof signs or pretty much anything else to make your car look good for the big dance, make sure y'all go check out Outlaw Graphics. Give a call to Bobby Brock or message them on their page,
Hit them up on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, Facebook. They got all sorts of stuff on there, man. But thanks again, Chase. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening in, and we'll see y'all next time.